Hey everyone, this is Arathon Hanzo, and we got a ban announcement today. So big changes in Pioneer and Modern, little dabble in the Pauper, and some hits to Explorer. One of the first big hits here is in Pioneer with the ban of Karn the Great Creator. Now Karn isn't my favorite card, so this ban doesn't bother me much. I'm more surprised, I think, that this didn't get banned in Modern as well. I know I'm pretty tired of watching Karn combos in Modern, even though I don't play it. My internal reaction is almost like disgust when I watch a Karn come down and then a card from outside the game comes into play. I understand the lore here and Karn's abilities, but it just seems outside the spirit of the game, and that game is MetaZoo. Geological Appraiser is gone here too in Pioneer. He had a good run, about 17 days before running him up too hard and getting the axe. So Discover is a pretty good mechanic. It's been fun for me to play with so far in my draft events, but I haven't tried to play against it in Constructed. But I think the writing was on the wall when the words turn 3 win started to be spoken, and Wizards just wasn't going to allow that. In the explanation of the bans, the team from Wizards elaborates that they are also monitoring the new Quintorius Can Planeswalker card to determine if its discoverability is also too strong, as well as the Trumpet Incarnate story. We also have an unban here in Pioneer with Smuggler's Copter being allowed back into the format. Combined with the recent card from Wilds of Eldraine that draws and discards as well, I believe, with Copters. I couldn't even find it. I know there's a card that exists that combos with Copters now, but I couldn't Google it and I couldn't find it in my deck. So maybe I'm making this card up. But if anybody remembers what it is, hit me up in the comments. But I think Copter shenanigans are coming. So let's see how long Smuggler's Copter lasts and see if it gets banned again. Quick note here that Karn and Geological Appraiser were also banned in Explorer for mostly the same reasons, but I don't really know anything about that format, so I won't try to sound like I do. Modern has a few bans as well, including one that people have been begging for, and Up the Beanstalk. This card has been a nice play for me when drafting Wilds, but watching Modern games where it is used and then every card entering the battlefield has a huge cost, so it triggers Up the Beanstalk, but it essentially comes in for free. It's just been nuts. You get 2 Beanstalks down and it just keeps drawing. It's fun, it makes the game fun, just draw your whole deck until you get your combo piece. It wasn't quite that bad, but it was a consistent winner. Although even though the win rate was high, the play rate didn't really seem to match it, so I think Wizards kind of saw the future here and estimated that the play rate was going to keep going up and just kind of dilute the format, so they went ahead and removed the issue for now. Beanstalk did last a little bit longer than Geological Appraiser though, so at least making it all the way to a whole other set before it got banned. Also banned here is Fury, which was just as growing a threat as Up the Beanstalk was, even though it's been in the format for a long time. Once many other combos had been dealt with either with new cards or prior bans this year, now there is a hole in Modern that many decks running Fury stepped into, including some mono red spammers that just took off with the blockers removed. I know for a while back the Fury was like the 12th most played card in Modern, and it's probably on the way up the charts from there. And Wizards kind of ended that run before the format could just get stale with Fury decks. The Modern Pro Tour this summer just kind of showed how strong Fury was with the top 2 decks in the format making use of it. And most other decks now just build around to deal with Fury. You can't play creatures, you can't really play anything else, so you either play to deal with Fury or, I don't know, you play Rakdos Scam. I don't know. So hopefully we'll see some new deck building types inside of Modern coming out now with this ban. The last ban today was in the Pauper format with the removal of Monastery Swiftspear. There's a separate article discussing the ban of Swiftspear from Pauper and more discussion on what other bans were considered and why they weren't banned at this time. Most of the article discusses, though, how even though Mono Red isn't winning at a huge rate, it's only kept in check by every deck preparing to deal with Mono Red. Most other decks can include up to 8 cards on the sideboard to deal with aggro and Mono Red. So eventually they kind of foresaw that we'd end up with a tournament where you either you play mono red, you build something else but half your sideboard deals with mono red, or you play something else and you play a normal sideboard, and if you just don't get paired up against mono red, then you beat everything else. And so it kind of made the tournaments into a lottery, and that seems like what Wizards was trying to avoid here with that, just by getting rid of Swiftspear and seeing if they can bring a little bit more balance into the format. Of course, there were no further standard bans in this window. Wizards did restate that they'd like to continue only issuing standard bans once per year, and that nothing from Ixalan was completely warping the format. And warp is the word they like to use for any card that, forces an entire format to change around it. Just like how Pioneer was either built with Karn or around Karn, but nothing could go over Karn. The people most vocal though for a standard ban would still like to see Sheoldred the Apocalypse banned, but since it's vulnerable to so many types of removals and counters, it just doesn't seem to be as big of an issue as some of the other cards that were banned today. Just getting Geological Appraiser to resolve was enough to end the game, while Shale Dread is just a consistent amount of pressure. Now I say this as someone who's building a standard deck with Shale Dread in it, so I'm prepared to fend off all the pitchforks here on this. Do you think that Wizards missed anything with these bans? Do you think that the release of these articles with the explanations and revelations about other cards that were considered for ban treatment is the proper way to explain the process to players? I've definitely enjoyed reading all of them, and I'll link them all in the video description. Especially the Pauper one, where they detail what it's like to make rules and bans for a format, even though none of those workers are on the design teams that actually make cards and make sets, so they don't get any input until the card already exists. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll be back with a normal MTG Arena news tomorrow after we process the ban news. Take care. Have a great day.